Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at 3500 Northwest Bridge Farmer Road here in Gaston, located inside the winery. We're over here at we're trying to scope the gray water part of the line. So we're going through this kind of catch basin thing here that the drainage system leads into. It appears to be 4-inch ABS plastic. We'll zero out here, and once we get down the line a little ways, I'll probably put some water down the line just to see the flow. I've got a garden hose set up right here. Got some water running now. This right here may very well be the septic, or the gray water system anyway, type of tank. We're going to go locate real quick while the line drains out. All right, just went and did some locating there, and my camera right now is maybe 3 or 4 feet from the tank lid closest to the building. And everything right up to this point here is nice and clean and clear. We get some standing water at the very end of the line. And we do have some buildup and sediment here that's collected right as you get to the tank. Now what I'll do here is I'm gonna put a marking down here at 75 feet. It would appear there is a belly here in the last little bit of the line. When it comes to these gray water systems, when they're only handling just purely water by and large, I mean some stuff's getting down there solids wise. Standing water in and of itself, when it's basically just water flowing through the line, is not a huge concern, but we are getting debris buildup at the end of the sewer line, so clearly solids have been going down this of some, type or another. So I'd recommend cleaning this area out here and re-scoping to make sure you don't have something else going on like a root intrusion. My camera, once I get into here a little ways, has a really hard time shoveling through all this junk. So I'd recommend it be cleaned and then re-scoped afterwards to see if it's just simply a belly or if there is some kind of blockage or root intrusion, something like that going on here. Because there's more standing water here right now than there was when we first rolled up to this spot. That standing water was a foot or so beyond where it's at right now. I don't know if the tank is full or what's going on here, but I'd recommend obviously the tank be inspected in the drain field. But then to also clean out this last portion of the line here. You're about 4 or 5 feet from the tank lid. And generally when you come up on a septic system, the connection to it is going to be 3 to 5 feet away from where the tank lid is at. So we very well could be right at the tank connection. And all septic systems will have generally standing water right when you come up to them. So that may be all this is here. But you are getting debris build up at the very end of the line. So I'd like to see that cleaned and then re-scoped to make sure there's no issues going on in that area there. Otherwise, all the pipe leading up to this point, I mean, it drains beautifully. It is a very, very clean line, as it should be. This really shouldn't be handling much in the way of solids. It should be mostly water. And it looks like that's basically the case here. There's essentially no debris in the line whatsoever until you get up to that last few feet just before the tank. And that little stringy thing right there, that's just a cobweb. That's not a root intrusion there. And that there appears to be some other kind of debris. There's somewhat of a separation at that joint there. The joint does not appear to be open to the ground, though. I'm looking at a coupler in between the two pieces of pipe. That appears to just be some kind of debris or a big thick cobweb. That does not appear to be a root intrusion there. Roots display themselves quite differently from that. That thing's bleached out white like a cobweb. But roots generally are getting right into the flow line. They don't dangle up above it generally. Now, other than the last, 3 or 4 feet there, as you reach the tank where there's buildup, and again, that may be how the tank is designed. You often run into standing water right as you connect to the tank. Generally, it's in a vertical column, not a horizontal piece of pipe like that. But with the buildup there, I would recommend cleaning that out and then, again, re-scoping it to check the work and to make sure you don't have an underlying problem going on there causing that water to stand. My camera just can't get far enough into there to really tell. And right now we're going backwards underneath the floor towards the back of the shop here, the winery. Yeah, my camera doesn't want to round this turn here. It's a hard 90. Alright, I just walked along back here, and this is all exposed troughing. You've got some grates over the top of it, but you can physically look down through the grate. So I just walked the grate there from this turn back to where the line starts, and I turned the hose on and ran water through it. That's why you can see that water there in the line now. The pipe the camera can't get to where it rounds at 90 is all draining properly. It's in good shape. The nice part about this stuff is you don't necessarily need to have someone like a drain cleaner come out to clear this out of here. You can certainly do that, but you can also manage this by pulling the grates up and just sucking the junk out of it with a shop vac or something like that. Other than, I've got some dust bunnies and dirt and things like that got kicked into the grate, but otherwise the line here looks good. It drains well. And again, everything out to that about 75-foot mark right where we run into the standing water drains very nicely and is very clean. So everything's functioning properly up to the last bit of the tank. Again, it's possible, it's because of the way the tank was designed, that's where you run into standing water. Usually you don't run into that on a septic until you get to the vertical column as the pipe dives into the tank. So that's why I would recommend cleaning out the end of the line out there and then rescoping it to see what's going on. But otherwise, it appears to drain off well. That standing water at the end of the line, that level didn't change. Again, it moved by about a foot or so from where we first got up to it. But based on the water volume I put down the line there, it still appears to be functioning. It's taking the water in. I just don't know if you've got something there that's hindering flow at the very end of the line.